Good evening. Welcome to the 15th annual Coaches vs. Cancer Wisconsin Gala presented by Connexus Credit Union. My name is Ben White. I am a Senior Development Manager with the American Cancer Society, and I oversee the planning and execution of this event. Thank you. So if you're having a great time, please let me know later. If you have comments, questions, suggestions, or what I like to call opportunities of growth, please look for somebody else wearing one of these name tags, because I'm sure they'd be happy to listen, and this is probably the last day that I can play I'm New. And it's true, I'm new. I started at the American Cancer Society in February, and my journey to this position is not the normal path, but who can say what is normal anymore? My wife, Kathleen, is here with me tonight, and we have 3 teenagers. Soak that in. One just graduated high school, one just got his permit, the other is about to enter high school. That's a lot. So thank you for the night out of the house. Our kids just think we're on a walk. Anyways, we talk a lot at our house about what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, me in my mid-40s, I was still asking myself that question. The problem was, it was always the wrong question to ask. It should be, as a grown-up, where can I truly be me? And for me, that's here at the American Cancer Society. Now, as a college graduate, I started out working at Wisconsin Public Television. I was in my early 20s, and I was hired to work all Badger sporting events. If you don't remember or didn't grow up here, WPT used to carry all Badger sporting events tape delayed, airing at 11 o'clock at night, the same night the game played, before the Big Ten Network, before ESPN, before Fox. WPT was actually the home of Badger sports, tape delayed. Now, Coach Ryan is here, and many years ago our paths did cross. I was part of the team that won the Night League Championship in the 1989 UW-Platteville basketball camp. But seriously, I was also the sports director for WPT's coverage, and in my position, the hardest job a producer-director could give an announcer was the following. I'd say, okay, before the game tonight, you are going to interview Coach Ryan. I need you to get a few 30-second sound bites we could play back during timeouts. Usually 3 minutes into the Bo's first answer, I would ask on the headset, does anybody remember what we just asked Coach Ryan? But then WPT's sports coverage started to diminish, and I was moved to a different program. I became the producer and director for the show Sewing with Nancy Zeman. Natural transition. I cannot sew or quilt, but I know all about stitching in the ditch and using sticky back fusible bias. Sewing with Nancy aired throughout the country, and I had no idea how big a star Nancy was in the sewing and quilting world until I traveled with her and really became a bodyguard instead of a producer. And Nancy was the nicest lady in the world. One of those people that you actually call disgustingly nice. She was so nice. She knew everybody's name. And she was an amazing person, but unfortunately, she battled cancer 3 times in her life. And she passed away in the fall of 2017. So that seemed like a good time for me to make a natural transition in my point of life. I moved to a full-time position at Middleton High School. I had been coaching boys volleyball at Middleton for over 20 years at that point. Bob Jors was the athletic director who hired me as a 20-year-old back in 1996. The interview at that time went something like this. Bob asked me, Ben, do you have a car? I said, yes. He said, what time are your classes done at UW-Madison? I said, 1:30. He said, great, you're hired. However, in 2018, Bob hired me to be the activities coordinator at Middleton High School, and I was still able to coach boys volleyball. The goal was truly for me to learn and shadow Bob for a few years, and then take over as the AD. It was a blast. He became more than a boss. He became a mentor and a friend. And unfortunately, Bob took a different role, one of cancer buddy. You see, at the start of the 2019 volleyball season, I returned home from a tournament and complained about some digestive issues. Now, Coach Smart, Coach Ryan, you can probably relate. You come home from a game, you're probably going to have digestive issues. So I didn't think too much of it. My wife Kathleen and I didn't really do much until we called the nurse on call the next day, and she advised me to go to the hospital, get checked out, because my symptoms I was having, urgent care probably wouldn't help out. An evaluation in the ER quickly turned to an overnight stay in the hospital, which led to immediate testing. An initial procedure showed a blocked bile duct, which was corrected with the place of a stent. A second test showed a tumor on my pancreas, which was obstructing the duct. So on Friday, September 13th, yes, a Friday the 13th, Nurse Sarah called me and asked me if I'd like to come see Dr. Chang that day. And I said, sure, I'd love to. Who's Dr. Chang and why am I going to see her? Nurse Sarah said, Mr. White, has nobody told you? And I said, nobody told me what? And she said, you have cancer. So I said, okay, what kind of cancer? And she told me I had lymphoma. So I was at home alone when I took that call. After some screaming and swearing and throwing the phone, I thought to myself, what the hell is lymphoma? That led to my first interaction with the American Cancer Society, the website cancer.org. Little would I know, I'd spend many sleepless nights on that website researching what I had. Later that day, we met with Dr. Julie Chang, who is joining us tonight, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her care, calmness, and treatment plan. We were diagnosed with diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. Scans would later show tumors all over my ribs, in my jaw, and on my digestive tract, or what the doctors called Grand Central Station. If a tumor wouldn't have blocked my bile duct and stopped my liver from functioning, we have no idea when we would have found the cancer we were diagnosed with. And less than a month later, I was doing chemo at the Carbone Cancer Center. Chemo sucks. It's awful. It's cumulative. Each one gets harder. My body did not like it. I lost a bunch of weight. I lost a whole bunch of hair. And truly, I lost the person I was. But Kathleen and my family never left my side, even on days when I told them I didn't want anybody around watching me just lay there trying not to die. And I was never alone on my cancer journey. I always say we were diagnosed and we have cancer because it is a we. Everyone connected to someone who gets diagnosed with cancer is affected in some way. Unfortunately, I was definitely never alone because a month after my diagnosis, my boss, friend, and mentor, Bob Joris, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It was a devastating blow to everyone. But his wife, Cindy, and daughter, Maddie, are here tonight, and they could probably agree with this statement. There is optimism and positivity, and then there is Bob Joris' optimism and positivity. I never wanted to leave my bed. I didn't want to go to work. But almost every morning around 9 a.m., Bob would text me and ask me, when are you coming into work today? It would piss me off and motivate the hell out of me at the same time. I'd get out of bed, I'd put on a hat, and I'd head to school to yell at Bob for being at work, saying we don't need to be here today. Instead, we'd usually spend an hour plus with the door shut talking about cancer and life. We shed many tears, and we shared much laughter. I do have to say the most laughter was the day Bob couldn't figure out why his nose wouldn't stop running, and because I was a month ahead of him, I had to tell him, Bob, we lost all our nose hair. At one point, Bob told me, I don't wish cancer on anyone, but I'm so glad to be going through this with you. And I felt the same way. When we were diagnosed with lymphoma, we had weeks of planning and procedures, which turns into months of chemotherapy. The journey was trying and the fight was daily. However, on February 19th, 2020, my PET scan looked good, and we are now in remission. Just celebrated 2 weeks. Thank you. Personally, cancer hit myself and many others hard in May of 2020, right after the world stopped due to COVID. I joined a cancer support group, and we lost one of our members to cancer in May of 2020. She was young and had a toddler at home. Due to COVID, our support group was virtual, so we were able to see her diminish over the last few weeks because all of our meetings she could take from her bed. It was hard to watch someone deteriorate so quickly. A few days later, a friend of ours who was a longtime volunteer at Wisconsin Public Television passed away from cancer. He was diagnosed the same time I was. His wife and my wife Kathleen corresponded with each other often to give each other updates. Then right after that, my friend Robin Dringa, who we honored here last year, passed away. Rob and I worked together for years on Badger hockey games. He reached out to me right after I was diagnosed, and he reached out to me right before he passed. I would say he was hockey tough until the end. And finally, my friend Bob Jors passed away on May 15th, 2020. Words cannot do justice for what he meant to me and the community at large. But all these people I mentioned and so many others have changed who I am as a person. And truly, they led me here to this podium today. I am working at the Cancer Society, and I couldn't be more proud of the work we are doing. It's the first time in my life where I feel like my personal why and my professional why are aligned. Cancer is always at the forefront of my brain. I hate cancer. I hate it with a passion. Everything about it. No one deserves it. With all that is going on in the world, we have to remember that cancer doesn't stop. But I have hope we can make it stop, and that's why I'm here. And I learned during my treatment how lucky I am to live in the Madison area. While we sit in the waiting rooms at Carbone waiting for our chemo treatment, we got to meet and talk to so many people battling cancer. And we heard so many stories of people having to travel 4 to 8 hours just to get chemo treatment at Carbone. And the difficult decisions they had to make about where to stay, how to get treatment, who has to stay with the patient, who needs to be home with the kids. I couldn't imagine having to have chemo and then driving back home for 8 hours. And those conversations make me want to work harder each day to help us fund our Road to Recovery program, which provides free rides to cancer patients to treatment, and also the grants that we provide for lodging at local hospitals. But I am alive today because of the research that was funded by the American Cancer Society. I learned during my ACS onboarding that Rituxan, part of my chemo treatment, was funded by an ACS grant. So when I had my 2-year checkup with Dr. Chang, I told her about the ACS funding, the research that went into the chemo drug. That was the big difference for me. She said Rituxan increased survival rate by 25 to 30%, and I was so excited to hear that. And she said, Ben, it's great, but that's been the last great development for your type of cancer in the past 20 years. That short sentence motivated me to do even more. We have to do more. Research is the key. We have to give these great doctors the tools they need to treat all cancer. Kathleen told me the other day that she always felt confident that I was going to be okay, because in the very first meeting with Dr. Chang, she said the following: "We are treating you with curable intent." That is such a powerful statement. Treating with curable intent. Our goal has to be to allow every cancer patient to hear those words, curable intent. The mission of American Cancer Society is to save lives, celebrate lives, and lead the fight for a world without cancer. I took a job that I don't want to have. I want you to work me out of a job because we don't need me. When I was looking for a life change and I saw that mission statement, I was all in. It seems so simple, but it takes a whole lot of work and help. Tonight, we are here to help us reach that mission statement. By being here tonight, you are making a commitment to help people you know and people you don't know. Your involvement makes a difference in the lives of cancer patients today and in everyone's future. Help us make every cancer a cancer with curable intent. So I want you to thank you for being here tonight. Be inspired by those that speak. Be inspired by those sitting around you. You are here to make a difference. We can do this if we do this together. So let's go. Thank you. So at this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage the chair of the 2022 Coaches vs. Cancer Board of Ambassadors, Jason Jones.
Hello everyone. This is awesome to see everyone here tonight. This is an honor for me to be here. I'm Jason Jones, Senior Project Manager at Findorf. On behalf of the American Cancer Society, thank you for joining us for the 15th annual Coaches vs. Cancer Gala, the largest Coaches versus Cancer Gala in the country. We are so grateful to all of you for being here to support this critical mission and for the dedication and hard work of the amazing volunteers who have led this campaign. We want to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors. All of you continue to support this cause, knowing that the dollars we raise tonight will continue our relentless pursuit to end cancer. Your support of the American Cancer Society advances a unified force that's attacking cancer from every angle: advocacy, discovery, and patient support. As you place your bids and raise your paddle tonight, remember all of those that you're helping. Hopefully you noticed our wall of champions during our pregame celebration on the big screen. Remember those champions tonight. Remember those who are battling cancer today. Remember our survivors who faced a diagnosis and overcome it. Remember our caretakers, our doctors, spouses, and partners. And take time to remember those who may no longer be with us. Let their courage, strength, and determination encourage you to take action. Because now more than ever, we need you. And we need your support to help accelerate our progress and save more lives from cancer. Now, tonight promises to be a very special night. We've already heard from Ben White and his inspirational journey to this point. And we are beyond excited to hear from Marquette Golden Eagles men's basketball coach Shaka Smart. Thank you for making the journey east on I-94 into Badger territory. We're also honored to be joined once again by the leaders of this campaign, Coach Bo and Kelly Ryan, who remain as committed as ever to fighting this disease. We will also recognize Bill Buchholz, an extraordinary man who will share his story of determination and belief as our Fan of the Year, and you don't want to miss his story. We're hoping to make the 15th annual Coaches vs. Cancer Gala one of the most successful on record. We're grateful to introduce our next guest, Connexus Credit Union, who's supported the American Cancer Society for a long time, and we're excited to have them on board as our Hall of Fame sponsor for the evening. So please welcome me in welcoming Connexus Credit Union. Thank you.
Now, one thing you've probably already experienced tonight, and if you haven't, please get out your phones. It's our mobile bidding silent auction. The silent auction will remain open until noon tomorrow, June 23rd, and there's some great items on there, including a chance to golf with Olympic gold medal winner Matt Hamilton at Black Hog Country Club. So be sure to keep your phones handy just so you know in case you've been outbid. And please remember to bid high and bid often. And later tonight, please consider giving generously to our Raise the Paddle opportunity at the end of the night. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our next guests. First, we have from ESPN Madison, co-host of Rutledge and Hamilton, Jim Hamilton. And joining him for a conversation is Oregon, Wisconsin native who has come home to the state to lead the Marquette Golden Eagles. This year, in his first year at the helm, he led the Golden Eagles to the NCAA tournament bid. He and his wife Maya have been involved with Coaches vs. Cancer for several years, and we are honored to have him join us tonight. So please welcome Marquette University men's basketball coach, Shaka Smart.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Coach, I like the shoes. Looking good.
Yeah, I saw you walking around. I said, you know what, that guy's got some style.
And it's honestly not because we're in Badger country, it's because it's Jordan. So you're probably similar age to me growing up as a Jordan fan.
Well, listen, let's get this out of the way here. I know that I'm outnumbered. We've got the majority of Badger fans here. And you know what, for tonight, I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right.
So we got here a little early, so my wife, Maya, stand up. This is my wife, Maya. then my mom, Monica, is here as well. She's not great at standing up, but she's here. She's lived in Madison, the Madison area since the 70s, so it's longer than I've been alive. But we got here a little bit early and drove by the home where I was born on Summers Ave, about 8 minutes that way. And it's cool to come back and drive around and see all the old spots where I used to hang out.
They said you're an Oregon, Wisconsin native. I'm actually in Oregon now. I drove on up for this, so it's always cool to see someone obviously big fandom from the area. So let's start with that, though. Obviously, you grew up in this area, Madison, and obviously Bo Ryan's here is a great influence, is a great coach, but you're back in Wisconsin, you're coaching at Marquette. That's got to be special for you.
Yeah, it's great. It brings back a lot of memories. I went to Coach Ryan's camps when I was in high school, and at that time he was at Platteville, and we were talking about this earlier, they had a factory of camps. I mean, they were just rolling kids through there, but I had the best experiences ever. I also went to Steve Yoder basketball camp. Okay. So for the hardcore basketball fans here, you guys remember Steve Yoder, but obviously with what Coach Ryan and Coach Gard and the recent coaches have done lately, sports fans, they remember the most recent coaches. So, but I went to those camps, and I'll never forget the first time I went to an overnight camp. My mom came to pick me up at the end, and I started crying. And she was like, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" And I didn't want to leave. I was actually crying because she was going to pick me up. So, I mean, I love those camps. And Coach Ryan, I want to say thank you to you, just because the way that you impacted basketball in this state, first at Platteville, UWM, being here, and the way that you impacted young people like me growing up in this state, I don't think you can really put a number on that, the way that you impacted us. And this was before going to multiple Final Fours and all the things you did here. But again, I can't really put words to the experience I had because of you. So I just want to say thank you for that.
How many times in your interactions with Coach Ryan has he talked about Chester, PA?
I've heard the stories. I love it. So one of the things when you're in coaching, you bounce around a lot. So I worked in Pennsylvania. Actually, my first coaching job was in the state of Pennsylvania. So that's why I learned a lot more about Coach Ryan, actually, than I knew when I was young, because I learned the whole, Philadelphia background and that side of the state. So, I've heard all those stories. I got a chance many, many years ago to meet Coach Ryan's father, which, for those of you that are here that have done that, that's about as much of a treat as anything, because if you think Coach Ryan's got a personality, it pales in comparison.
And, just touching back on, your mom's here and you got family here, you grew up here, and I don't know in your trek if the idea was ever to get back here, but it's got to be special to be able to have family around you and enjoy the success you've already had at Marquette.
Well, I always tell people that ask, because we've moved, I think Maya said we've lived in, 9 states? So we've been all over the place, but everywhere we've lived, we've loved it there, and I can't say one bad thing about anywhere we've been, but there is something special about getting a chance to be back home and be around my mom more importantly than anything. We have a daughter named Zora. So in my family, there's Maya, and then there's Zora, and then there's myself, and so I'm the role player, and they're the 2 star players. I learned that a long time ago, but just to be able to kind of connect the generations by being back close to home is great. And it's weird because I grew up watching the Badgers in every sport. Actually, even more so than basketball. My uncle Bruce, who also lives here in Madison, used to take me to UW hockey games at the Coliseum. And so I watched the Badgers in basketball, football, hockey, soccer, and it's just strange being at like a rival school now. And of course, the fans, they want you to hate them. But man, I can still hear the band playing in the old field house at some of those games. I actually just talked to earlier today Tracy Webster. You guys remember Tracy Webster? So I grew up, I was a little bit younger than him. He was the star player here with Stu and Rashard Griffith and all those guys. And he works for the Dallas Mavericks, so he called me about one of our players. And I just want to talk to him about Wisconsin, the old Wisconsin teams. I'm like, who cares about the player? Let's talk about those teams. But, yeah, it's awesome just being back part of it and being around it.
You're dropping some old names there. It was funny. I just mentioned Tracy Webster's name today because we were talking about Badgers who were drafted. And I want to get to a guy that you're coaching that has an opportunity to get drafted. But talk about what was the biggest highlight this year for you at Marquette?
There was a lot of highlights. Definitely wasn't the Wisconsin game for any of you guys ever there. Let's see. We beat Villanova twice, which in the Big East, Villanova's kind of the team that everybody bows down to. And so when I first got to Marquette, we had the coaches meeting. Coach Ryan knows every league has their coaches meetings, and in most leagues there's like one coach that everyone just reveres and looks up to. And probably near the end of his career, that was Coach Ryan in the Big Ten. But so that was Jay Wright at Villanova, and it was on a Zoom at the time. I got off the Zoom. I said, "We got to beat these guys, man." It's almost like too much respect. But we were able to sweep them. We were able to beat them twice. So that was one of the highlights. When we went to play at their place, their fans. I'll tell you, I don't know how the Big Ten is, Coach Ryan, but the Big East fans are brutal with some of the things that they throw at you. I mean, the language, and it was pretty extreme. And so they had some choice words that they were using with my name. And so it was cool because we ended up getting the last word. And that was definitely a highlight, being able to sweep them.
Yeah, that's a heck of a highlight. Coach Wright, obviously a legend, and you're able to knock him off. And Coach Wright, and I'm sure Coach Ryan as well, and you have your kind of staples for building a program. And, it is one of those things where it is relationship building and culture. Where did you kind of pick that up, and how did that become one of the staples of building a program like you are at Marquette right now?
Well, it's the only way. I mean, especially in today's day and age with the transfer portal, NIL, all the things involved in sports, which, again, the hardcore fans in here know about. Some of you may not know about, but it's just changed our job in terms of the way that we interact with our players. But what has not changed is what goes into winning on the court. And so I learned really more than anything from my mom, the value of relationships. I was raised by a single mom, and I had 3 brothers growing up. And my mom only had 2 rules. And it was don't bring home a bad grade, and it was treat people the right way. And as long as I did those things, she was a very, very liberal parent. It was crazy, some of the things that she allowed us to get away with. I could never do that with my daughter now. I'm way more on the conservative side as a parent. Plus, it's a different day and age. But she taught me the value of relationships. I was fortunate to play for some coaches that put their arm around me and treated me like a son almost. And I needed that because I didn't have my dad around. And so that's why I got into coaching. 1, I love basketball. 2, just the power of getting a chance to show someone that you believe in them and actually see things in a young man that he doesn't even see in himself, and then be able to be a small part of that process of helping him accomplish that. So it's gone fast. I've been coaching for 23 years now. So I used to be the young coach. Now I'm kind of like medium. So hopefully I can get to the point where I'm the old guy.
Well, and, I don't know if this was a player you were talking about earlier, but Justin Lewis, obviously a guy that's got to be fun for you to see someone you coach year 1 at Marquette and someone that hopefully is going to have a really nice Thursday night.
Yeah, so Justin Lewis was our best player this past year at Marquette. He was really motivated when we came and played Wisconsin. And that was because the year before, he had a game-winning tip-in against Wisconsin. So the game actually worked out a lot better for him as a freshman than it did as a sophomore. But he had a phenomenal sophomore year. And, again, in this day and age of I think it's over 1,700 guys transferring, when I got to Marquette, I had no relationship with him. He didn't know who we were. The players weren't even on campus. They were all scattered around the country doing school virtually because of COVID. And I went and met with him, and I told him, I said, hey, man, you had a good freshman season, but I think you can be way better. And then we started this conversation about the journey that we would need to go through to create that. He ended up being the most improved player in our conference, and he's going to get drafted tomorrow night. And so I'm happy for that. I've been there at the draft a few times when our guys got drafted, and there's no more like surreal moment than to see a guy walk across the stage that you coached, and you knew him when he was a snot-nosed kid, And now he's shaking the commissioner's hand, and that's only the beginning of his next journey. So I'm happy for Justin to see that. Certainly would have loved to coach him again, but those are decisions that a young man and his family should make. And again, he's going to get drafted tomorrow. You can't beat that.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it there, that as a coach, you want some of these players to come back, but you got to figure out what's best for them. How do you balance that now with, obviously, the NBA is an option, but touched on it before, that portal is wide open. So there's a lot of ways that you have to kind of manage your program, that you can coach players that you want to, the way you want to coach them, but also make sure that they're happy and enjoying themselves.
For sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing is you want people that want to be wherever you are. You know, for me, I learned a long time ago, wherever I'm coaching, that's the place to be. And, you know, that's how I want to go about it, and I want players on our team that go about it that way. So I'm like Coach Ryan. I'm old school. I would love to coach a guy for 4 years. You know, if you look at the guys that Coach Ryan coached over the course of their whole career, I think if you asked any of those guys whether they went to the NBA or not, he changed their lives, and the coaching staff changed their lives. And that's one of the awesome things about coaching. Because you get a chance to truly transform people. I coached a young man, I wanted to make sure I talked about this while I was up here. I coached a young man in Texas named Andrew Jones. And Andrew Jones, after his freshman year, put his name in the NBA draft, but then decided to come back to Texas and play his sophomore season because he wanted to improve his positioning. In the early part of his sophomore year, he was playing really well. He was averaging 15 points a game, and he broke his wrist. So he was out for a little while, but when it was time to come back from his wrist injury, he came back to practice, and this was right around the holidays. And he came back to practice, and he was really struggling to get up and down the court. And it was like, man, he really wasn't out that long. Something seems off here. So he went and played the next game. He was a little off. We did some testing, didn't find anything, went and played the next game. Something wasn't right. Turns out he had leukemia. And it's the first player that I'd ever been around, you know, dealing with, you know, that serious of a diagnosis. And having the opportunity to go see him in the hospital and just watch what he was going through was really life-changing for me. And it reminded me that this, you know, it's a lot bigger than basketball. You know, we lost our leading scorer, but that was like irrelevant at that point. Another thing I learned as it relates to leukemia and cancer is that depending on where you are, it can completely change your treatment plan. And, you know, Ben was touching on that earlier. He was on one treatment plan where he was. I won't mention the name of the hospital. We were working on getting him switched over to a place called MD Anderson, which some of you may have heard of, one of the top cancer hospitals in the country. It's in Houston. It happens to be affiliated with the University of Texas. And it was tough getting him transferred because the place where he was didn't want to let him go. For that area, he was somewhat of a kind of a high profile, and they wanted to have him there. Finally, we were able to get him moved to MD Anderson. The doctor there completely changed the treatment protocol that he was on, talking about different drugs, different chemo schedule, everything was different. And I'm happy to say that he beat leukemia. He rung the bell, and he left MD Anderson. And not only that, he came back and played and had a very, very successful end of his career, graduated from college, and now he's off to playing professional basketball. So going through that, again, it kind of hits close to home because you see a guy, in his first couple months, he lost about 50 pounds. And you see a guy go through this, and you see him kind of in the toughest moments, and you realize that, you know, this is just a deadly, deadly disease, and it doesn't have a timetable in terms of when it hits. But he was such a fighter. His number one goal was to get back on the court. He was able to use basketball as a motivation for him, and he did a great job and beat the disease.
Yeah, you kind of stole the thunder. I was going to ask you, why were you involved in this? But obviously that kind of sets it up. Obviously, this is a great organization. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of money raised tonight. Anything you want to say to everyone that's gathered to see you and to support Coaches vs. Cancer, and obviously raise a lot of important fundraising money?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone here. And I know you guys probably root against us on the court, but tonight is about a lot more than that. And, you know, I also want to say that, you know, at Marquette, you know, every school kind of has its traditions and its great players. And, you know, you learn from, I'm a history guy, so you learn from, you know, people that came before you, some of the stories. And the thing that Marquette and Wisconsin and Illinois and every other school have in common is stories about people affiliated with the sports programs of the universities that have been affected by this disease. And so, again, I just want to say thank you to everyone here tonight, and it's great to be here, great to be with you guys, and yeah, I hope we can raise a lot of money.
Let's thank Coach Smart.
So again, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Coach Smart. Thank you for both being here and your support of Coaches vs. Cancer. So again, just one more round of applause for Jim and Coach Smart. So now, like any good coach, he's motivated us. And we got to take that motivation and do some audience participation. And so we're going to get going to our live auction. But let's remember that tonight it's the fight against cancer that brings us here together. And like Coach Smart said, it doesn't matter if you're a Badger or a Golden Eagle. The American Cancer Society is proud to count you among its millions of passionate volunteers, donors, and supporters. And together we're a united force making a difference in our community tonight and every night across the country. Have no doubt the American Cancer Society is leading the fight for a world without cancer by attacking it from every angle. And the good news is we're making progress. Today, cancer death rates are dropping and we're saving more lives from cancer than ever before. But despite our amazing progress, we know there's still work to be done. And you heard during my story, developments and research are needed for all cancer. We owe it to all those impacted by cancer to keep up the fight. We can and we must do more to ensure progress doesn't stop. So the dollars raised through galas like this and other American Cancer Society events help fund the most promising research across the country, including several right here at the Carbone Cancer Center. Now, every dollar that's raised tonight helps the American Cancer Society save lives, celebrate lives, and fight for a world without cancer. So, before we get started, I'd like to introduce Glenn Flatibo. Glenn has been a part of this event for many years. We've worked together since my first day, which was 5 months ago. And we've had great conversations about tonight and about making tonight special. So now it is my pleasure to introduce Glenn Flatibo, our auctioneer, who will be helping us through tonight's program. Glenn, it's wonderful to have you.
Number one, Ben, thank you. I have been the auctioneer at this event for many, many years. And I will say to everyone, he is the perfect choice to lead this. Can we give Ben White a round of applause for how hard that he's worked with this organization? Ben, thank you for everything. Coach Ryan, thank you for your leadership. My friends, we are going to make a difference right now. If everyone can grab your bidding number, we're all going to practice bidding. So it matches the number on your name tag. Just pass the bidding numbers around. Hold up your numbers super, super high. Now I need you to turn to the person on your left or your right, give them a hug or shake their hand and say, no matter how much money we spend, it'll be okay. All right? We are ready to go. We have 6 amazing items in the live auction. Ben, tell us about item number 1 to start.
Item number 1 is from Hamel Family Wines. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience at Sonoma Valley's Hamel Family Wines. The winning bidder will enjoy a 2-night stay for 2 couples at the Armor Plate Guest House at Hamel Family Wines in Sonoma Valley, overlooking one of California's oldest Zinfandel vineyards, which dates back to the 1890s. Glenn, can I just say I love Price is Right, and I've always wanted to do this. During your stay, your group will be treated to a Hamel Family Wines Reserve experience. This unique and personalized wine and food journey includes a privately guided tour through the Hamel Family Ranch Vineyard, winery, and adjacent cave. An experience culminates in the library with sweeping views of Sonoma Mountain and the valley below. There you'll have an executive chef prepare small plates expertly paired with the Hamel Family wines. Go for it, Glenn.
All right, everybody, it's item number 1 in the live auction. They have been supporters of this event for many, many years. Can we give the Hamill family a round of applause for how much that they've done for this event, for the community? This is a big deal, everybody. It's for 4 people, 2 couples. You can negotiate when you do it. Again, 2 days. The Magnum bottle is included. It's a $7,900 opportunity. Here we go. Somebody give me $2,000 to start. You're going. I should ask for $40,000. She bid so fast. I have $2,000 right here. Somebody give me 3. Thank you. I have 3 right here. Now $4,000 out. Somebody give me $4,000. Ma'am, give me $4,000. Do it. $4,000. Thank you. The bid is there. 4, 5. Is that right? 5. Thank you. I bid $5,000. And now $6,000 out. He is bidding and heading to the bar at the same time. Give me $6,000. I have $5,000 right here. Now $6,000 out. Now $6,000. The bid is right here at $5,000. I bid $5,000. 55. Thank you, sir. Give me $6,000. He did. Thank you. $6,000 is there. Ma'am, give me $7,000 out. Now $7,000. They're gonna do it. The more you bid, the more fun you'll have. Give me $7,000. Thank you. The bid is $7,000. That is a big bottle of wine. Sir, give me $8,000. After 3 glasses, you'll never care. Give me $8,000. I have $10,000. Is that right? 10. Is that okay? I have. You know what? I'm gonna take you to my auction to Minneapolis tomorrow night. By the way, I asked him for 9. He said I'd give me 10. That's fine. I have $10,000. Somebody give me $11,000 out. Now $11,000. The bid is right here at $10,000. Now $11,000 out. Now $11,000. It is third and final call. Now $11,000 out. Ma'am, it's so expensive now it doesn't matter. Give me $11,000. I have 10 right here. Now $11,000. Now $11,000. I have 10 right here. Now $11,000 out. Now $11,000. Somebody give me $11,000 out. Now $11,000. We sold it for $10,000. Let's give this gentleman a round of applause. Your number is, he's going to grab it. Number 262, he bought it for $10,000. Here's item number 2 in the live auction.
At this point in time, my wife should get her paddle ready. This is the Firestone Stay and Play package. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to play golf at Firestone Country Club. This package entitles you to an overnight golf trip for 4 people to Firestone Country Club. Your trip includes 2 nights accommodations and 2 standard villa rooms on property. You will relax in a villa alongside the courses and take some of the best views of the championship golf courses. Your foursome will also enjoy a round of golf on the legendary South course, which has been the host of over 65 years of professional golf. Then you'll also play around on our North course, and then you'll play around at the Fazio course. Cart fee and 4 caddy are included. Also included, a $400 gift card for each person to be used as they wish. So thank you to our friends at Sugar Creek Packing for this golf trip of a lifetime.
Julian, I want you to come join me. The family who helped us put this gift together, matter of fact, his son serves on the board of ambassadors, and I should have said this at the very beginning. This event would never be what it is tonight without the board of ambassadors and the entire board. Can we give all of the folks that served on the board of ambassadors a round of applause? Thank you to the entire board. They have met countless mornings to put this together. I wanted Julian to come here tonight because Julian, and stand beside me before I sell this item, because Julian helped secure this item. Julian is 73, is that right, Julian? 74. He is one of the 10% who survived pancreatic cancer. He not only survived it, he has invited all of his physicians to join with him tonight. Many of them came to the event. And matter of fact, I went up to Julian and I said, Julian, why are you doing this? Why are you supporting us and helping us secure these items? He said, Glenn, with the time that I have left and all the days that we have on this earth together, we need to make a difference. Julian, I want you to tell him how you found this package.
Well, I called my friend that I did some consulting work in Ohio. And I said, John, could you support me? He said, what do you need? They're coming up for the golf outing, by the way, for the weekend. They did last year. But he said, well, how about the auction? What can I do? So we started talking about Firestone. And what we got to was this amazing package. A foursome at Firestone Country Club. All 3 courses. 4 caddies. Carts. 2 nights at 2 villas. And $400 a player to be spent as you choose at the course. Ladies and gentlemen, if a guy from Ohio can support Wisconsin's Coaches versus Cancer, I'm looking for some golfers out there to get off their wallets. This is an opportunity of a lifetime, And I hope that you take advantage of it because it means a lot to me and a lot to the people who are doing everything they can every day to help, because this is an ugly disease. It's going to hit every one of us, either directly or indirectly, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to tell you, I freaking hate it.
Can we give Julian a round of applause for giving back, making a difference together? He put this package together. This is a big deal. It's for 4 people. You can play a foursome at all 3 courses. Truly a priceless opportunity. The first person to give me $100,000, I will sell it to right away. You can't blame us for asking. You know we should have close to 15 grand on it. Somebody give me $5,000 to start. You're going to play Firestone. Here we go. Somebody give me $5,000 now. Not 5 grand. It's well over a $15,000 value. Thank you. The bid is there. I have 5 right here. Somebody give me $7,500 now. Now $7,500 now. The bid is there. 5,000, 75. Thank you. As a consolation to wine country, she's going golfing. I have 7,500. Ma'am, give me 10,000. Now $10,000 now. Now 10,000. Don't even look at him. Look right at me. Give me 10 grand. I'll take 8,000. Now 8,000. Ma'am, 8,000. I have 7,500. Now $8,000 now. No 8,000. It is well worth that. Well over a $15,000 value. The bid is 7,500. I have 7,500. Somebody give me $8,000 now. No 8 grand. No 8,000. Thank you. The bid is 8,000. Ma'am, give me 9,000. And now $9,000 now. No 9 grand. It is $2,000 cheaper than the California trip I just sold. Give me 9 grand. She did. Thank you. I'm not right here. Now $10,000 now. Now 10 grand. Somebody give me $10,000 now. One more shot. 10,000. 10. Thank you. She's at 10 grand. I'm 10 right here. Ma'am, give me $11,000 now. Now 11,000. One more time. 11,000. If you give me 11,000, she'll give us 12,000. We'll be all done. Let's try it one time. Give me 11,000. I'm 10 right here. Now $11,000 now. Now 11 grand. Now $11,000 now. Now 11,000. She's gonna do it. 11,000. You have $500 sunglasses. Give me 11 grand. I got 10,000. By the way, if I'm not back next year, that was the reason why. 10 grand. Now 11,000. I'm 10 right here. Now $11,000 now. Now 11 grand. It's last call. The bid is right. 11. Thank you. 11. Ma'am, give me 12,000. It is well worth that. Give me $12,000 now. 4 people, all 3 courses. All 3 courses, 2 nights. I love it right here. Now $12,000 now. Now 12 grand. And now 12,000. It is third and final call. The bid is right here at 11,000. Now 12 grand. Anyone else said 12,000? Now 12 grand. We sold it for $11,000. Let's give them a round of applause. Number 272, ma'am, thank you for bidding as well. 272. Here's item number 3 in the live auction. You're going to Mexico, everybody.
It's a 7-night Mexico vacation. Our friends Jim Gowan and Gowan Sales and Distributing have donated this next item. 7-night stay with your choice at one of the Vedanta resorts. Units are a 1-bedroom Grand Lux with full kitchen and can accommodate 2 adults and 2 children, but why would you bring your kids? That's stupid. Again, our kids still think we're on a walk. Hopefully Kathleen texts them. Resort is not all-inclusive. Check-in is only available Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Now, each of the locations have been designed to bring luxurious accommodations such as world-class entertainment, award-winning restaurants, golf courses designed by the greats, indulgent spas, salons, pools, boutique shopping, daily activities for the whole family, but you're not bringing your kids, and the staff that caters to your every need. Also included in this package is a $1,000 airline gift card to be used toward the purchase of airline tickets. Folks, this is a great item. I've talked to many people that have gone there, and they said, Ben, this is a steal. People do not know how nice this resort is. So this is why it's a live auction, because a lot of people that have bid on this in the past have come back with too good of reviews for it to be a silent auction. So enjoy it here on the live auction.
All right, everybody, it's item number 3 in the live auction. Jim Gowan, I'd like you to stand up before I sell this. Jim served on our board. He's a 2-time cancer survivor. He is a member and a part owner in the resort package. Matter of fact, he secured this for us. It's a remarkable opportunity. Jim said he will actually book the location, the dates that you want to use, any of the locations that you want to go to. He'll put together the experience. It's a $1,500 value per night. It's a remarkable gift. Let's give Jim one more round of applause. Jim, thank you for your leadership on the board. Thank you for donating this. It's a big deal, everybody. It's a $12,500 value. Somebody give me 5 grand to start. You're going to Mexico. Here we go. Somebody give me $5,000 now. Now 5 grand. They did. Thank you. I have 5,000 back there. They're at 5,000. Somebody give me $6,000 now. Now $6,000. 6,000. The bid is there. I have 5 right here. Now 6,000 lows down. Now 6,000. They're going to do it. 6,000. We have 5 back here. The bid is 5,000. Now 6,000. Ma'am, a smile is the same as a bid. Give me 6,000. Now 6,000. I have 5 right here. Now 6,000 lows down. Now 6,000. Now 6,000 lows down. I'll take 5,500. The bid is back here at 5,000. I bid $5,000. Now 5,500 lows down. 5,500. You guys, it's a consolation of Firestone. You're going to go to Mexico. Give me 5,500. I bid 5,000 back here. I bid 5,000. Now $5,500 now. Again, $1,500 value of 55. Thank you. Ma'am, give me 6,000. She did. Thank you. 6,000. Ma'am, give me 6,500. It's going to be snowing here in 3 months. Give me 6,500. I have 6,000. Now $500 out. Now $500 out. Friends, 6,500. The bid is right here at 6,000. One more shot. 6,500. We're just starting to have fun. Give me 6,500. I have 6,000. Now $500 out. Now $500 out. Say, Ben, before I sell this, I want you to hit the highlights for me one more time. I've got 6,000 right here.
It's a 7-night stay at your choice at one of 7 locations. It's also a 1-bedroom Grand Lux with full kitchen that can accommodate 2 adults, no kids. Resort is not all-inclusive, but it has all the luxurious accommodations you could want. World-class entertainment, restaurants, golf courses, hosted a few professional golf tournaments, endless pools, boutique shopping, daily activities. It's everything you want, plus the $1,000 airline gift card to be used towards the purchase of airline tickets.
And I just added this. Ben is bringing you to the airport and picking you up as well. So thank you, Ben, as well for that. The bid is $6,000.
It's a 2015 Dodge minivan.
Yes. It's a $20,000 value now. I bid $6,000. Now $500 out. Man, give me 6,500. It is last call. Down it goes. The bid is right here. I have 6,000. Now $500 out. Now $500 out. 65. Thank you. Ma'am, give me 7,000. Now $7,000 out. You're this close. Give me 7,000. We have marriage counseling after the auction. $7,000. Thank you. Somebody give me $8,000 out. Ma'am, give me 8,000. Now $8,000 out. The bid is right here at $7,000. I'll take $7,500 out. Now $7,500 out. One more shot. 7,500. They're gonna do it. Thank you. 75. Ma'am, give me 8,000. And now $8,000 out. Now $8,000 out. One more shot. 8,000. She said to talk to the husband. 8,000. I'm 70. It's not the husband. 7,500. No 8,000. And now $8,000 out. No $8,000. No $8,000 out. I did. We sold it for $7,500, ma'am. Thank you. She bought it for $7,500. And your number is. She's gonna hold it up. 7,500. Number 341. We just have 3 items left in the live auction. Here's item number 4.
Item number 4, that hole up there is at Medina. That is the hole that Sergio Garcia. Remember the shot Sergio hit as a youngster? Right against the tree, he hit it and then started running up the fairway to chase it to see how it looked. That was a long time ago. But that's the hole. So play a hosted threesome with a member of Medina Country Club on course number 3. Located outside of Chicago, Illinois, the championship course is long and challenging. That course has hosted 3 Western Opens, 3 U.S. Opens, 2 PGA Championships, a BMW Championship, and the 2012 Ryder Cup. Also included in this package is a $1,000 Marriott gift card to be used to make this a stay-and-play package. This package must be used during the 2022 season.
All right, everybody, it's item number 4 in the live action. It's a foursome at Medina. Can we give Von Moore a round of applause for his support tonight? Thank you to Von Moore and the family. They could be with us. This is a big gift, everybody. It's a foursome. You can negotiate when you do it. Here we go. You don't shout, goes to $5,000 on it. Somebody give me $1,000 to start on a 4. Thank you. 1,000's right here. Sir, give me $2,000. Now $2,000 out. Now 2. Thank you. I have 2 right here. She's at 2,000. Now $3,000 out. Now $3,000. Somebody give me 3. Thank you. I have 3 right here. Sir, give me 4,000. And now $4,000 out. Man, give me $4,000. Now $4,000 out. Now 4. Thank you. I have 4 right here. Now 5,000. Now $5,000. The bid is right here at $4,000. And now $5,000 out. Now somebody give me $5,000. Now $5,000 out. Now $5,000. The more you spend, the better you'll play. Give me $5,000. I have 4,000 right here. Somebody give me $5,000 out. The bid is right here at $4,000. I'll take 4,500. 4,500. 45. He's been waving at me for 10 minutes. 4,500. I bid 4,500. Friends, somebody give me $5,000 out. Now 5,000. The bid is right here at 4,500. 5,000. Thank you. 555. Is that okay, sir? 5,500. Thank you. 5,500. Sir, give me 6,000. Now $6,000 out. Now $6,000. Somebody give me 6,000. One more shot. 6,000. I have 5,500. Now 6,000. Now 6,000. He's gonna do it. The bid is right here at 5,500. Sir, give me 6,000. One more shot. $6,000 out. Now $6,000. Anyone else at 6,000? They're having a table conversation. Give me $6,000. Now $6,000 out. 5,500. Anyone else at $6,000? Now $6,000. We sold it for $50,000. $5,500. Let's give them a round of applause. He bought it for $5,500. And your number is, can you hold it up? Number 381. He bought it for $5,500. We have 2 items left in our live auction. Here's our dinner with Bo and Kelly.
First up, how about heading to Vino Wine Bar and Bistro on the west side of Madison to have dinner with Coach and Kelly Ryan. This package is for 8 people plus Bo and Kelly. You'll enjoy a gourmet dinner, tremendous service, and wonderful wines as Vino and its team roll out the red carpet for your party. Enjoy a 5-course dinner with each course paired with a different wine from Vino's extensive collection. Vino has been a longtime supporter of this event. They have an outstanding group of owners and staff, and their willingness and enthusiasm to donate this package shows what amazing people they are. Huge thanks to Vino crew for their generosity.
All right, everybody, it's item number 5 in the live auction. I need to do a good job when I say this. I think of my time doing this event. Kelly Ryan, when I look at you and I look at Bo, I think of how many dinners that I've sold. And she has given up many, many nights of her life to support this organization. Can we give Kelly Ryan a round of applause as well? Kelly, thank you for how many dinners that you've agreed to. Coach Ryan, thank you, thank you, thank you. Literally an amazing achievement, what we've achieved here. Thank you for your leadership. You can negotiate with the Ryans in the restaurant when you do it. Here we go. You don't have a lot of money for it. Somebody give me $1,000 to start and about thank you, 1,000 right here. 1,000. Somebody give me $2,000. Thank you. Now $3,000 down. Now 3. Thank you. I have 3 right here. Now $4,000 down. Somebody give me 4,000. Now 4,000. The bid is right here at $3,000. Now $4,000 down. Now $4,000. Somebody give me 4,000. 5,000. Thank you, sir. Give me 6,000. And now $6,000 down. Now $6,000. He has to keep bidding. He's at coach's table. Give me 5,000. 6,000. Sir, give me $6,000. Now $6,000 down. Now $6,000. One more shot. 6,000. The bid is right here at 5,000. Anyone else at $6,000 down? Now 6. Thank you. 6,000. Sir, give me $7,000 down. Ron, 7,000. Is that okay? Thank you. 7. Ma'am, give me $8,000 down. No, $8,000. Thank you. 8,000. Ron, give me 9,000. 10,000. Ma'am, give me $11,000 down. Now 11,000. The more you spend, the more fun it'll be. Ma'am, give me $11,000. 11,000. Now 11,000. I have 10 right here. Now $11,000 down. Now $11,000. Now 11,000. If you spend $11,000 on this, you will never forget tonight. Give me $11,000 even. The bid is right here at $10,000. I have 10,000 right here. Now $11,000 down. Now $11,000. Someone give me $11,000 down. Now $11,000. Ron, I sold it to you for $10,000. Let's give Ron a round of applause. He bought it for $10,000. Number 159. 159.
All right, last item. Milwaukee Brewers Suite. American Family Insurance has proudly donated use of a suite at American Family Field for the Friday, September 9th, 2022 Milwaukee Brewers versus Cincinnati Reds baseball game. The package includes 24 tickets.
Say, Ben?
Yeah.
Listen to this. Coach Ryan just said that we could sell a second dinner. We just sold the second dinner for $10,000 to this family. Let's give them a round of applause about the second dinner. Number 121. Coach Ryan just helped us raise $20,000. We sold 2 dinners, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take it away, Ben.
That's outstanding. Thank you. So again, suite at American Family Field for Friday, September 9th. Milwaukee Brewers versus Cincinnati Reds baseball game. The package includes 24 tickets, parking, food, and non-alcoholic drinks, but alcohol can be purchased for the suite by the auction owner. If you have 24 friends, that's 20 too many. Go ahead, Glenn.
All right, everybody, it's our last item in the live auction tonight. Then we have a really important moment to end our program. It's the Brewers Suite, everybody. It's a gift to us from American Family. Can we put our hands together and give American Family a round of applause tonight? Thank you to American Family, the employees, the leadership team. Again, it's against the Brewers. The game is September 9th. 24 tickets, parking, food, and non-alcoholic drinks are included. It's an amazing opportunity and close to an $8,000 value. Somebody made $3,000 to start. You're going to the Brewers. Here we go. I have 3 right here. Somebody made $4,000. The bid is there. I have 3 right here. Now $4,000 down. Somebody made $4,000 down. The bid is there. $3,000. 4. Thank you. I have 4,000. Friends, somebody made 5. And now $5,000 down. Now $5,000. Somebody made $5,000 down. Now $5,000. One more shot. 5,000. Thank you. 5 is there. Sir, give me 6,000. He did. Thank you. And now $7,000 down. Now $7,000. Somebody give me $7,000 down. Now $7,000. We are guaranteeing you that the Brewers win. Give me $7,000. The bid is 6,000. Now 7,000. One more shot. 7,000. I'm $7,000. Thank you. Sir, give me $8,000 down. No $8,000 down. I'll take $7,500. Now $7,500 down. Now $7,500. Anyone else at the last call? Down it goes. $7,500 down. Now $7,500 down. Now $7,500. We sold it for $7,000. Congratulations. Number 260.
Glenn, we look forward to seeing you again a little later in the program. Now we're going to make a transition. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the director of the University of Wisconsin Carbone Cancer Center, Dr. Howard Bailey, to help introduce our Fan of the Year.
Thank you, Ben. And thank you for Coaches vs. Cancer for the opportunity to introduce the Fan of the Year and my friend, Bill Buchholz. But before I do that, I really want to thank the American Cancer Society, Coaches vs. Cancer, but especially all of you for supporting local cancer patients and their families with the Road to Recovery program that Ben has mentioned, but also what you do to support local cancer research, whether it's at the Carbone or nationally. It makes a difference. You make a difference. So thank you for that. So some examples of some of the local research that you've been supporting include the following. Dr. Christian Capitini, who's sitting over here, is a researcher looking at new ways to develop immunotherapies to treat kids with cancer. And for the pet lovers out there, he's even moving that into canine studies as well. That's one of the things you're supporting. More recently, the Bo Ryan and Jay Holiday Families Fund. You've supported a really talented biomedical engineer by the name of Dr. Pam Krieger, who's studying how and why ovarian cancer spreads and what we can do to stop that. Another one that fund has supported and you've supported is Dr. Randy Kimpel, who's studying how and why certain cancers don't respond to radiation therapy. And that has already led to a clinical trial here and at the University of Michigan trying to overcome that. So that's some of the things that you've been a big part of. So thank you for that. Your honored fan, Bill Buchholz, along with his wonderful spouse and partner, Signe, have been an incredible, important part of our community because of their generosity and caring over the years. Their connection to cancer is unfortunately long, but they also have a connection to cancer research. Starting with Signe, who worked in the lab of Howard Temin, the Nobel laureate, years ago, leading to, unfortunately, their own battles with cancer. Signe with breast cancer, Bill with prostate cancer, and more recently, Bill with metastatic melanoma. Bill Buchholz is the epitome of what many of us would call the servant leader. Whether that's founding and developing the Buchholz Planning Corporation into one of the country's best employee benefits programs company, or the work that he does for all of our communities and beyond. So it was no surprise to me that when Bill recently heard something that none of us want to hear, you have advanced metastatic cancer. What Bill asked was what obviously any of us would ask, what can we do about it? But in the same breath, what Bill asked was, what can I do to help others with cancer, even while I'm doing that? So while Bill has been dealing with advanced cancer, he has taken the time to do much for all of us, starting with being the founder and starting what's called the Innovation Fund at the Carbone, where we can move a lot of our discovery to the clinic much faster, or helping communities here and elsewhere. So Bill and Signe have also done that, plus early on in the pandemic, they reached out and wanted to know how they could support the frontline care providers around our area during the travesty, during the parts of the pandemic. And Bill has spent a lot of time counseling and working with patients and families with cancer to work with that. So this next part, for those of you that know Bill, will not surprise you. Over all the years of my growing friendship with Bill, he has spent more time calling me to see how I'm doing than I've spent calling him to see how he's doing with his cancer. So join me now in honoring the Fan of the Year, a cancer survivor, but more importantly, a great human being, Mr. Bill Buchholz.
This year's Fans of the Year, Bill and Signe Buchholz, are an inspiration to many.
I grew up in Beloit, Wisconsin, 50 miles south of here, and came here to the university. I thought Madison was a huge town at the time because Beloit's only 32,000 people. So anyway, we loved it here. We met when Bill was a freshman and I was a sophomore, and we've been here ever since.
I was born here At the time, my father was trying to land on Omaha Beach, and when he got back after some injuries, we moved to Manitowoc, and that's where I grew up, and then came back here in 1963 to go to college, and we've been here since then. It's a great place to live here. I mean, it's wonderful. We've thoroughly enjoyed it. We have a son who is, what is he, 49?
49 years old.
Yeah, and our daughter is 52. She's 52 now. Our daughter, she'll be 53. He lives in Raleigh, North Carolina with his wife, and Linda, our daughter, lives with her family in Minneapolis. They have 2 grandchildren, one of which is going to the university here as a freshman, which we love, and the daughter will be going on to college in probably about 2 years, maybe a little less. As far as being an athlete at the university, I'm much better now than it really was when I was playing. At least that's what I tell the grandkids. I was fortunate to receive a scholarship to play primarily baseball, but a little bit of basketball. I wasn't good enough to really play Big Ten basketball, and that showed up quickly. Well, athletics has taught me some things, and one of the things that I have learned is that you're going to get knocked down, and you're going to have adverse things happen to you, and you just need to get up and keep plugging away at it. Competitiveness, the desire to fight through things, plus just work ethic and meeting people, team concept of getting along, and it's anybody that can play any sport, male or female, doesn't really matter. It's going to help them. Well, when I was first diagnosed, and Signe handled it better with her cancer than I did. Well, it first of all caught up with Signe. Signe was diagnosed with breast cancer, and knock on wood, everything is going terrific. It was devastating to me, because they told me that it was metastatic. Signe's was not metastatic, and that it was going to shorten my lifespan considerably if they couldn't successfully treat it. I'm not ashamed to say it was devastating to me. I ended up on my knees crying uncontrollably. And then it kind of came to me that I now get it. I'm not in charge. That I can't control some things. 15 years later now, there's no evidence of any cancer in the prostate area. We feel blessed we got through it. It was December of 2017, and I had gone in for some checkups and stuff, and they did a chest x-ray, and they came back and they told me that they saw a lesion in my left lung. So they had a biopsy. That metastasized and went in to my brain. So I had melanoma in my brain, and I had melanoma in both lungs, and I had it near my liver, and a couple other small tumors at different parts. The first episode helped prepare me for the shock of this one, because I was upset, and I'm sure I shed some tears, but I have a little more resiliency now because of what I went through the first time. I don't recommend that you go this route. So I sat down with the people at Carbone, and they told me, Bill, because I asked them how long do I have to live, and they said, well, if we can't find a successful treatment for you, you've got somewhere between maybe a year. Pretty shaken up, but you know, I'm kind of proud of myself that I kind of sucked it up and went about my work, and I have a great partner here who is terrific, and she's a pillar of strength. And the probabilities of finding a successful treatment was pretty low, well below 50%. And but they said we've got some new stuff that's been going on, and we have a new method of treating it, because the new procedure they use when they can is called immunotherapy. I was very, 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 very fortunate that after one treatment, 50% of the cancer went away. And gradually it kept getting better and better and better. And during all of this time, I convinced myself that if I could keep a good attitude and keep active. So I didn't change what we were doing. Played golf, we went to dinner, we went to parties with friends. This is my baby. 2 years ago, approximately 2 years ago now, we stopped the treatments. And I've gone 2 years now without any treatments, and no evidence of any cancer in my brain, in my lungs, liver, or anywhere else in me. And carbone is very much at the forefront of all of that. So keep the money coming in. I feel kind of bad about asking for that, but it really is important, because enough of us get cancer. We have to have hope, and this kind of stuff gave me a lot of hope. And when you have hope, it's easier to fight the battle.
Thank you to our fans of the year, Bill and Sydney Buckles.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure, Coach Ryan and I, to introduce the 2022 Fan of the Year, Bill Buckles.
Okay. I don't think I was this nervous when Dr. Bailey came to me and said, "You have cancer." When I had an office in a business, I had folks who would type things for me. I never learned how to do that. So this is all written down in yellow pieces of paper. So bear with me. Let me start by saying good evening and thank you to the Coaches versus Cancer organization and the American Cancer Society for allowing me to visit with you about a subject that I've become more familiar with than I ever, excuse me, than I ever intended. Parenthetically, I want to re-echo that this Coaches versus Cancer organization is the largest fundraiser in the country. Think about that. New York, LA, Philly, all of these, Chicago. This is the one that raises the most money. So that, in a way, that shows what you folks have done, and you should be proud of what you've done. They say that life is a compilation of lifetime experiences. Some are good, some are not so good. When starting a conversation about cancer, it is challenging to know what to say and where to start. The video that you just saw documented a bit of our journey that we have gone through, and I'm going to be using we, as Ben said. It's a family deal. Too often the spouse does not get the credit for dealing with the fight that we go through. I but I'd like to add a few things that I've learned along the way and provide some real reasons for hope for future treatments. There is a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to cancer treatments, and it's not a train. After 2 battles with stage 4 metastatic cancer, I can confirm that any experience with cancer is, as Ben said, it sucks. It messes with you physically, it messes with you mentally, and it messes with your relationships. And it's downright scary. In all of its forms, cancer is a miserable, rotten disease. In 2006, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. After surgery, it came back. Then we tried some medicine to slow it down. That didn't work. Finally, in 2010, we all put our heads together, especially the doctors, and we came to the conclusion that trying a new form of radiation called tomotherapy would be a good thing to do, and I'm pleased to tell you that it worked much better than the others. In 2017, I was diagnosed with melanoma on the side of my head, and I had surgery to remove it. Melanoma can be very aggressive, and such was the case for me. In 2018, it metastasized to my brain, both of my lungs, near my liver, and various other parts of my body, all of which were of significance to me. My life expectancy at that time was not so good, but a dear friend of mine, and I have a group of dear friends of mine, put his arm around my shoulder and he said, "Bill, perhaps this would be a good time not to buy any green bananas." And I actually thought that was funny at the time, and I learned something. It's okay to laugh at cancer. Don't misunderstand me. It's a very, very serious thing, but sometimes it's a way to relieve tension if you can laugh at it. But I'm now in a good life experience, and as I stand before you tonight, I am pleased to report that as of last Thursday, I continue to be free of no detectable evidence of any cancer anywhere in my body. Notice that I said no detectable evidence of cancer. It can come back. Cancer cells can be so small that the science guys and their magnificent machines that they use to test us can't pick it up. It's that small. But as of now, they don't see any that's good enough for me. If it does come back, we've already got a plan B and a plan C in mind, and I don't think we're going to need it. I want to thank the 3 primary physicians who have helped me through this. Dr. Mark Albertini, who is a medical oncologist, Dr. Zach Morris, who is a radiation oncologist, and of course Howard Bailey, who has been my father confessor, who explains to me what these words use in the reports. I think it's a code for them, so we don't know. However, the chairman of my medical team is my wife, Signe. She's not a doctor, but she could be, at least a psychiatrist or a psychologist, because I've been told that sometimes I'm a little challenging to be around. And as you heard earlier, she has had her battle with breast cancer, successful surgery twice, and then some treatment, and she's doing great. And Signe, would you mind standing up? It's not enough that we say thank you to our spouses or our partners. It's tough on them too. There's a big question that I deal with often, and sometimes it really bothers me. Why am I standing here tonight, presumably free of cancer, And while I was being treated, others have lost their battle. We've all got friends who have lost the battle. It just doesn't make sense, and it doesn't seem to be fair. To those families who have lost a loved one, I am profoundly sorry for your loss. I have a little insight into what they might have gone through. If I may, I'd like to share some things I've learned and then share my answer to the question I just posed. During the first Coaches versus Cancer Gala, Coach Jim Valvano, with his body riddled with cancer and so fatigued that he needed help to get to the podium to give his famous speech, in which he used the phrase, "Don't give up. Don't ever give up." I agree. But I would be less than honest with you if I didn't confess that at times not giving up was tough to do. I started feeling sorry for myself, then I got angry, and then I got off my butt and decided I need to do something. And I thank people like Coach Smart and Coach Ryan and all the coaches that I've had in sports for learning how to get back in the game and not give up. It was a real blessing to me. Obviously, I haven't died. Sometimes I feel like it when I'm playing golf. And interestingly enough, I've never really been afraid of dying because I know we're all going to do it anyway. But scared? Absolutely. Really scared. The process of dying from cancer is not a fun experience. Fear of the unknown and loss of control of timing are stimulants to being scared. When you can't control the cancer and you can't control the timing of it, it makes you fearful. There's empirical evidence that a positive attitude can help heal you physically and mentally. It can even help you make free throws. If you're feeling low and down and out and scared, talk to someone, be it a professional or a friend. All of us have friends who want to help. They just don't know how or what to do. And I would suggest they never will if you don't talk to them. Let them help you. They want to. And it will also lessen the burden of cancer on yourself. Let 2 or 3 other people carry the burden with you. If you have a higher power in your life, go to it and pray. I am of the Christian faith, and I ask not to be cured of cancer, but rather to have peace of mind and courage to face what is before me. In the military, there is a saying, I think it's Marines, but I'm not sure of that. Evaluate what is, then adapt to what is, and then go forward with courage. Equally important as courage is to go forward with hope. There are hundreds and hundreds of research projects to develop new treatments to attack the mutations within cancer cells. I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to make an attempt to describe this. All the cancer cells have unique mutations within them that are specific to the person who has cancer. If they're able to match new medicines to those mutations, then you got something going for you. I'm an example of that. See, I had a mutation in my cancer, the melanoma cancer. It was called PDL1. There's all kinds of them. They just did a study with 18,000 cancer cells to determine what the mutations were. With genome sequencing and the development of targeted treatments for these cancers, it has become a reality. It just now needs to be perfected. As to the answer to the question, why am I here and others are not, the only thing I can give you is a profound conclusion that I was lucky. Luck is affected by timing. You see, both of my cancers were diagnosed after new developments came into being. For example, if my melanoma had been detected 10 years ago or 10 years before now, I wouldn't be here now. In my opinion, innovation is the key to new treatments. Research projects are the key to innovation, and research requires funding, which is why we're here tonight. I know times are tough and challenging, but quite frankly, cancer doesn't care. I have a wish, perhaps it's a dream, and that wish is that all of us someday never have to deal with cancer again. That a vaccine is discovered to prevent cancer like the polio vaccine has done for polio. It probably isn't going to happen during my lifetime, but I can hope and I will hope, and I'll work hard to see if I can help make it happen. But a wish that is possible is that research develops new forms of treatments for all forms of cancer. Then the luck I received will be available to all of us. It can happen, and I believe it will happen. Coach Galvano was correct. Don't ever give up. I would add one word. Don't ever give up hope. The future for the treatment of cancer is filled with hope. I'm an example that actually worked. Thanks for listening.
Camille and Sydney, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for the leadership that your family has shown to the entire community. They are humble, thoughtful people. Bill, great job, and thank you again. My friends, this is the moment, right now, that we can make the greatest difference, together. The funds raised in this portion of our program are staying right here at home. And will provide a researcher or researchers an opportunity that perhaps they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Coach Bo Ryan's wife, Kelly, in 2018 formed the Coaches vs. Cancer Bill Ryan J. Holiday Families Fund. They did it with an initial investment of $500,000 to support cancer research at Carbone Cancer Center. Thanks to our donors, it's been fully funded 4 cancer research projects, and our goal tonight is to add that to that. We can do this together. Matter of fact, at my table tonight, I sat with a physician, and he shared with me personally what the research has done for him, his career, and ultimately to people. And friends, at the end of the day, it's not about the research or the researchers. It is about the people. We are going to make a difference tonight as a community. Some family, whether it's next year, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, will share their story, the Bill story, that he is still here, or she is still here, because of what we did. It is my pleasure, and I will share this with you. I've been an auctioneer for 25 years, and I've done thousands of these events. It was moving for me tonight. I stood right over there, and I met a person that's asked to be anonymous tonight, and he shared with me that he and his wife would like to start this moment tonight by pledging $50,000. Can we put our hands together for the family that's made the commitment? They are with us tonight. They are giving $50,000. It's one of the largest gifts that we've ever had in this moment. A huge thank you to this family. Let's break a record together. My friends, we can do this. Is there anyone else tonight willing to pledge $50,000 in our efforts? Anyone else? Yes. Here's a second one at $50,000. Number 119. That is a $50,000 gift. Number 119 at $50,000. Number 119 at $50,000. Anyone else at the $50,000 level? Here's a second one. Coach, thank you. Can we give Coach a round of applause? Number 155 at $50,000. That is 3 at $50,000. 3 at $50,000. Anyone else at the $50,000 level? At $50,000. How about $25,000? How many families tonight would consider pledging $25,000? Anyone at the, yes, number 348 to $25,000. Let's give them a round of applause. Here's a second one, number 333 at $25,000. That is 2 at $25,000. Here's a third one. Bill and Signey just pledged $25,000. Let's give Bill and Signey one more round of applause. Number 102, Bill, thank you. Number 102 at $25,000. Number 102 at $25,000. Anyone else at the $25,000 level? At $25,000. We're going to the next level. How about $10,000? How many families tonight would consider pledging? Yes, thank you. Number 159 at $10,000. Number 197 at $10,000. Thank you to the Smarts. Can we give the Smarts a round of applause? They just pledged $10,000. Number 157 at $10,000. Here's a fourth one. Number 252 at $10,000. Number 252 at $10,000. Anyone else at the 10? Here's another one. Number 256 at $10,000. Number 256 at $10,000. Anyone else at the $10,000 level? At the $10,000. Before we move on, can we give all of the families that just pledged $50,000, $25,000, and $10,000 one more round of applause for their support tonight? Thank you to all of those families. We're going to the next level. How about $5,000? How many people tonight would consider pledging? Yes, number 258 at $5,000. Number 201 at $5,000. Number 178 at $5,000. Number 230 at $5,000. Ma'am, thank you. Number 110 at $5,000. As a consolation of the golf trip, she just pledged $5,000. Number 110 at $5,000. Anyone else at the $5,000 level? Here's another one. Number 146 at $5,000. Ma'am, thank you. Number 146 at $5,000. Anyone else at the $5,000 level? Here's another one. Number 269 at $5,000. Number 269 at $5,000. 269. Anyone else at the $5,000 level? There's another one. 381 at $5,000. Ma'am, thank you. Number 381 at $5,000. Anyone else at the $5,000 level? Can we give, yes, number 356 at $5,000. Number 356 at $5,000. Anyone else at the $5,000 level? Let's give our $5,000 donors a round of applause. Thank you to our $5,000 families. We are going to the next level. How about $2,500? How many people today would be willing to pledge $2,500? Yes, number 271 at $2,500. Number 405 at $2,500. Number 287 at $2,500. Number 246 at $2,500. Number 378 at $2,500. 378. Number 366. Ma'am, thank you. She bid on every auction item tonight. Number 366 pledged $2,500. Anyone else at the $2,500 level? At the $2,500 level? Yes, number 293 at $2,500. Ma'am, thank you. Number 293 at $2,500. Anyone else at the $2,500 level? How about $1,000? How many people tonight would consider pledging $1,000? Yes, number 174. Julian, thank you. Number 174 at $1,000. 386 at $1,000. 383 at $1,000. Number 407 at $1,000. 377. Number 214 at $1,000. Look at all these cards. 128 at $1,000. 203 at $1,000. 291 at $1,000. 279 at $1,000, 312 at $1,000, 403 at $1,000, number 373 at $1,000, number 409 at $1,000, 368 at $1,000, 385 at $1,000, 431 at $1,000, number 431, number 328 at $1,000, 344 at $1,000, 234 at $1,000, number 239 at $1,000, number 239 at $1,000. Anyone else at the $1,000 level? That is a lot of $1,000 contributions. Can we put our hands together for all of the families that just pledged $1,000? Thank you to all of those families. We are doing great. We are going to the next level. How about $500? How many people tonight? Yes, number 161 at $500. Ma'am, thank you. Number 182 at $500. 322 at $500. 280 at $500. 204 at $500. Number 163 at $500. 313. Number 206 at $500. 314. Number 143 at $500. 212 at $500. 125 at $500. Number 211 at $500. Number 171 at $500. Dave, thank you. Number 180 at $500. 310 at $500. Number 307 at $500. 425 at $500. Number 427. Number 309. 244 at $500. Number 173. 240 at $500. Number 339 at $500. 222 at $500. 228 at $500. 236 at $500. 226 at $500. Number 358 at $500, 358 at $500. Anyone else at the $500 level? At the $500 level, can we put our hands together for our $500 contributors? Thank you to our $500 contributors. We are going to the next level. How about $250? How many families tonight would consider pledging $250? Anyone? Yes. Number 334 at $250. 364 at $250. Number 141. 283 at $250. Number 165 at $250. 248 at $250. Number 250 at $250. 437 at $250. Number 224 at $250. 242. Ma'am, thank you. Number 187 at $250. 292 at $250. Number 292 at $250. Number 150 at $250. Thank you. Number 150 at $250. Anyone else at the $250 level? And as our final level tonight, how many people would be willing to pledge $100? Anyone at the 100? Yes, number 195 at $100. Number 195. Number 135 at $100. Number 134 at $100. Number 350. 352 at $100. 355 at $100. Number 190 at $100. 375 at $100. 219 at $100. 345 at $100. 336 at $100. 262 at $100. 271 at $100. Number 188 at $100. 433 at $100. 392 at $100. Anyone else at the $100 level? Yes, here's one more. 396 at $100. 285 at $100. Ma'am, thank you. 285 at $100. Can we put our hands together for everyone coming tonight, for all of your help and your generosity? Lori, amazing, amazing, amazing night. By the way, Lori, can you stand up for me real quickly? Can we put our hands together for the entire Wisconsin American Cancer Society staff for how hard that they work, our executive director, the entire staff. We've had a remarkable night tonight. Coach Ryan, thank you for your leadership over so many years. Thank you, everyone.
So I have to say this, because this is what American Cancer Society does. It makes special events, special nights. And I knew that when I started working at American Cancer Society, and we did onboarding, and we did 3 weeks worth of virtual onboarding, which seems like a lot, and if you're an ACS member, it is a lot. But at the end of each day, they showed you an American Cancer Society video, and I'd leave my office area, and I'd come downstairs, and my wife also worked at home, and I just have tears streaming down my face. I'm like, what happened? I think they showed me another video. But I'm standing over there tonight, and this isn't scripted, like I'm just watching them and getting teary for everything that you guys have done tonight. And so thank you. A round of applause for all of you. Thank you. And truly, the star, one of our stars tonight, Glenn, thank you for all your help, for making it entertaining, but also such an important part of what we are and what we do. So thank you, Glenn, for everything you've done for us tonight. I'd like to thank our Hall of Fame sponsor, Connexus Credit Union. Thank you for joining us tonight. And one of our champion sponsors, April Air. Thank you for joining us tonight. You all have been such incredible supporters of Coaches vs. Cancer, and we are so blessed and thankful for your generosity and passion in fighting cancer. We'd also like to thank Wind River Financial, returning us both our Final Four and mobile bidding sponsor. Thank you to Wind River Financial. I'd also like to take a minute to recognize our Associate Board of Ambassadors, a group of young professionals who are hosting the 5th annual Red, White, and Blue Party on August 25th at Bishop's Bay. And they have an ambitious goal of raising over $150,000 for the American Cancer Society. So thank you to our Associate Board of Ambassadors. And finally, I'd like to thank our 2022 Coaches vs. Cancer Wisconsin Board of Ambassadors. I think I was hired on a Monday and I met you on a Wednesday. You guys were an amazing group to meet, and I really appreciate everything you've done for us. So thank you to our Board of Ambassadors, and please, would our Board of Ambassadors please stand tonight? Thank you. Your work year after year to make this event successful does not go unnoticed. You are the true definition of a team and prove that big things can be accomplished when we collaborate together. And I would like to give an extra shout out to this year's board chair, Jason Jones, who went over and beyond his call of duty as a chair working with a newbie. So thank you, Jason, for everything you've done for us in the last 5 months and longer. So here's the start. I would like anybody that's been a sponsor to stand tonight. Anybody. Just be, if you're a sponsor, please stand. Any corporation, any business, any family, just stand. Please stand. Keep standing. Anybody that raised their paddle tonight, please stand. Anybody that raised their paddle, please stand. And if you're here tonight, please stand. Join us in our fight. This is how we're going to attack cancer from every angle, as a united, collaborative team. Every single person here standing tonight has been a supporter of our Cancer Society. Since Coaches vs. Cancer began in 2008, we have raised over $8.8 million. I can tell you tonight, after tonight, we're up to $9.5 million and still counting, because there are too many paddle raises for us to do the math that fast. Our goal, because we're headed to Green Bay tomorrow with Coach Will Ryan, we're going to do this again tomorrow, and we're going to see if we can push us over $10 million. So thank you. All right, you can sit, because you're going to be standing for a while. So thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. A few last announcements before you leave. You have beautiful centerpieces at your table. I don't want to bring them home with me. So go ahead and fight among yourself at the table, but you guys take those home. The Dodge minivan cannot hold that many. Plus, my kids are going to think I was out for a walk and brought those back. It would be really weird. But thank you to Fitchburg Hy-Vee for donating the floral centerpieces tonight. Thank you very much. And now lastly, before we leave, don't forget that the silent auction closes tomorrow at noon. So keep an eye on your bids just for a little bit longer. If you didn't get something tonight, there's still plenty of opportunities online. I know certain paddles, they raise their hand a lot. There's still an opportunity to come home with something. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you for sharing the night with us at the American Cancer Society. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Please drive home safely. Keep the hope alive, and have a good night. Thank you very much.